Holy Grail discoveries are described as being breakthroughs in a field of research that have led to the understanding of a long-awaited solution to a problem that many deemed impossible. Though they are not common, once discovered, they tend to completely change their field of research for the better and lead to a golden age of information to help better the world and, in essence, all of humanity. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be discussing 5 different Holy Grail discoveries and how they changed the world. Computational Universal Memory Chip. One of the biggest issues with computation devices in the modern day has been the use and requirement of adequate dynamic random access memory, known as DRAM. That allows computational devices to hold information necessary for minute tasks required to be performed every second. These requirements essentially require computers to boot up and engage in sleep mode at specific times, given the fact that the RAM holds bits of data that would be naturally wiped for efficient use between each load of information. One of the problems this creates, outside of slow operating speeds for computational devices, is that it requires computers to use more energy and power for its performance, with researchers estimating that by the year 2025, more than 1/5 of electricity consumption would be from the use of computational devices across the world. The only way to solve the problem would require a theorized electronic computer piece that would be able to store information that would be able to be retrieved quickly and with stability for long-term data storage, while also being able to reduce energy consumption with low energy writing and erasing of bit information. Due to the seemingly contradictory requirements, computer engineers have often believed that such a breakthrough would be impossible. As it turns out, with the help of a number of engineers from different computer companies, a breakthrough has been made in what is now being referred to as the Universal Memory Chip that is capable of performing such a feat while also cutting a computer's power consumption by an expected value greater than 1/5. According to the newly registered patented memory chip, published within the Scientific Journal of Scientific Reports, Lancaster University has developed a memory chip capable of being so diverse in its use while also satiating the demands of a universal memory chip that it can even allow a computer to engage in energy-saving sleep modes in between keystrokes without requiring the device the need to boot up or shut down in between use. The breakthrough is expected to make DRAM obsolete once production on an industrial scale is completed by the end of 2019. A complex hydrogen formation. For many within the scientific community, the most important endeavors for the human race centers around our production and consumption of energy as well as our developments in the field of rocket science. It appears that a recent discovery could very well have been the answer to both of these endeavors. However, unfortunate circumstances and an unexplainable reaction would lead to the secret being lost shortly after its discovery. For a long time, researchers theorized it had to be possible that hydrogen could be used to create a new form of metal capable of acting as a superconductor as well as the most powerful chemical rocket propellant out of all of the elements on the periodic table. These traits are due to the fact that the theorized metal would be far more efficient at handling energy buildup, as understood from its possible strong coupling between conduction electrons and lattice vibrations, essentially working as a superconductor at room temperature. Additionally, the energy required to generate enough pressure to form metallic hydrogen would hold enough explosive power that once the bonds broke apart, it would be the most efficient rocket propellant ever used. The first reported successful attempt at creating metallic hydrogen was generated back in February of 2017. However, the only stable sample of the compound was lost after the diamond anvils holding the sample suddenly shattered and caused the incredibly small piece that was only a few thousand atoms in size to be lost. If and when the stable element is recreated, it will be an industrial and scientific revolution in the modern day. 4,500-year-old Egyptian ramp system. One of the greatest mysteries of archaeology has been that of the Great Pyramids of Giza and exactly how the ancient Egyptians created the megastructures during their reign. It appears that during a recent archaeological survey of the site taken back in 2018, researchers have found an ancient ramp system at the ancient quarry site of Hatnub, located in the East Desert of Egypt. Tests and theories have shown that the contraption could have been used by the ancient Egyptians to transport massive alabaster stone up a steep ramp that would have allowed them to move stones the size used at the pyramids of Giza for construction. Though nothing has been definitively proved relative to its use for construction, it does lead to a tremendous understanding to the efficiency of the ancient Egyptians and how they could have potentially moved the stones to construct the pyramids if necessary. Staffordshire Hoard. One of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever made surrounding that of the rich British culture would occur completely by accident and become hailed as one of the largest ever finds of artifacts in the modern day. Back on the 5th of July of 2009, two men, 68-year-old farmer Fred Johnson and his friend 57-year-old friend Terry Herbert, discovered a number of strange artifacts when travelling through Fred Johnson's land. At first, they believed the artifacts to be a collection of old metals, only for it to be revealed that they had come across an ancient site filled with a large haul of gold and silver artifacts. This quickly led to the two men gathering the artifacts together and taking them to a museum to find out that the discovery, later referred to as the Staffordshire Hoard, was worth more than £3.3 British in value. This led to the men becoming wealthy literally overnight as they sold their find to the museum that helped to appraise its value, of which led to one of the greatest discoveries of artifacts made and stored in the area by the Anglo-Saxons. Additionally, the news story would go on to be one of the most popular stories in the region, leading to even more interest surrounding the strange artifacts, where they came from, and the purpose of why they had all been broken up into smaller pieces before being stored. This would not be the last of the two friends, however, as shortly after this find and sale, they would go back to the property and search for even more artifacts to be estimated for value and appraised. This would lead to the two men finding even more artifacts located near where the original artifacts had been unearthed. Unfortunately, Terry Herbert and Fred Johnson claimed that the discovery created a rift in their friendship as they battled over how the money should be split, with Johnson claiming he deserved all of the earnings as the artifacts were discovered on his property, despite Herbert having been the one to unearth the artifacts. Today, there have been more than 4,000 artifacts discovered in the region, becoming a source of continual wealth for the two men as they were given split credit over the incredible find. The oldest pharaoh carvings. Originally discovered back in 1890 and recorded by researchers during this time, the oldest carvings depicting that of a pharaoh ruling Egypt were made when researchers stumbled across a large rock alongside the Nile River in southern Egypt. Unfortunately, after the expedition in the region had ended, many researchers were unable to locate the rock that the original Egyptologists had recorded, leaving many to question the authenticity of the claim. Fortunately, this stone was rediscovered once again back in 2008, when researchers journeying through southern Egypt took notice to that of a strange carving on a stone that depicted the first pharaoh to have existed, known as Narmer, ruling over the first pieces of evidence of a unified Egypt. The carving is significant for a variety of reasons. One is being able to accurately date the reign of the first Egyptian pharaoh, as well as the depiction of the pharaoh at the time. Another is being aware of the end of the prehistoric era and the beginning of history itself, as new events were now accurately catalogued and recorded. Originally, many researchers were well aware of the carvings having existed at one time via sketched images of the carvings that were discovered at the Nag el Hamdulab village, but these sketches had often been revealed as being incomplete and left many researchers wondering if the source of the supposed carvings had ever existed in the first place. The source of the carvings would not be discovered until the late 1960s, when several photographs had been taken of the oldest pharaoh carvings. However, these photographs were never published and would fade into obscurity until the early 2000s, when researchers would stumble across the photos and try to uncover their location. This would lead to a research team uncovering the location of the carvings in 2008, leading to the dating of the carvings to reveal that the image had been created as early as 3200 BC and would have been depicting the first pharaoh to have ruled the unified Upper and Lower Egypt. Presumed to have been destroyed, this piece has allowed researchers to understand a more cohesive grasp on the timeline of the pharaohs and could even lead to a new understanding of the timeline in the modern day. But what do you all think of these incredible discoveries that have been hailed as miracle finds that have helped to change their field of research? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.